Build yourself in silence. Stop comparing. Start rising. If you want to change your life, really change it, the very first thing you must do is stop looking outside yourself. Stop watching others, their success, their progress, their noise. It's easy, almost automatic, to glance sideways, to check what others are doing, how fast they're moving, what they've already achieved. But every second you spend looking outward is a second you are not building what belongs to you. This is not just a motivational phrase. It is a profound truth. Comparison is distraction. Distraction kills focus. Focus creates direction. Imagine this. Your life is a garden. Every thought, every action, every moment of attention is a seed planted in that garden. Now ask yourself, whose garden do you want to grow? Yours or the wild garden of other people's expectations and achievements? When you stop chasing their timeline, when you stop trying to catch up or keep pace, and start showing up for your own, something shifts. The whole world shifts. What felt impossible suddenly feels inevitable. Because success doesn't come from looking outward. It comes from clarity within, from the discipline to cultivate your own ground, your own vision. History is full of men who understood this quietly but deeply. They didn't wait for others to approve or validate. They didn't hesitate, watching the crowd, wondering if they were ready. They moved first, acted first, and then became ready through the act itself. Andrew Carnegie is one of them. Born into poverty in a cramped cottage in Scotland, he had nothing, no money, no connections, no education. What he did have was an unshakable vision, a fire inside him that refused to be put out by circumstance or comparison. Carnegie didn't waste his energy envying those born into privilege. Instead, he turned inward. He studied himself, disciplined his thoughts, and focused all his energy on what he could build from his own center. This is your lesson too. Stop measuring your worth by the success of others. Stop letting their accomplishments pull you off course. Your neighbor's promotion, your friend's achievement, the celebrity's fame, none of it is your compass. You are not here to live their dream. You are here to awaken your own. Every time you compare, you give away your power. You hand your focus over to a place outside yourself. And once your focus leaves your inner world, your mind scatters, your actions become reactive, and your results waver. Do you feel that? That creeping sense of losing yourself in other stories? It's subtle but dangerous. Reclaim the throne of your own mind. Believe with fierce conviction that your ideas, your values, your ambitions are worthy, more worthy than doubt, more worthy than fear. When you hold that belief firmly, the world stops happening to you. It begins happening for you. Your thoughts clear. Your vision sharpens. Your actions align with purpose. And something mysterious happens. The universe, vast and unpredictable, starts to respond. Remember this. All great change begins within. Every skyscraper starts as a blueprint. Every fortune begins as a vision. Every man who commands power first masters his own mind. So I ask you, what vision burns in your heart? What idea will not let you rest? Don't ask if it's possible. Ask if it's yours. Because if it is truly yours, you must stop waiting for permission. Stop searching for signs. Stop hesitating. Stop comparing. Seize the reins of your inner world. Declare yourself the master of your fate. You are not here to imitate. You are here to create. It's a lie we all tell ourselves at some point. I'll start when I'm ready. But let me be clear. Readiness does not come before action. Readiness comes through action. Think about it. How many times have you felt the weight of doubt, the pull of fear, the ache of uncertainty? You convince yourself, just one more day of preparation, just a little more study, just a bit more waiting. But that waiting is a trap. It's a mirage that keeps you frozen in place, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, the perfect conditions. Those moments never come. The truth is, no man ever truly feels ready before he acts. The readiness emerges from the doing. It's forged in the fires of experience, sweat, and failure. Consider Theodore Roosevelt, a sickly, frail boy who grew into one of the most formidable presidents in American history. He was not born ready. He made himself ready by wrestling with adversity, by pushing his body and mind beyond comfort, by acting decisively despite fear. Or look at the story of Edmund Hillary, the first man to stand on the summit of Everest. He didn't wait to feel ready. He trained, he planned, and then he climbed, step by step, into the unknown. Each moment of movement builds momentum, and momentum, that invisible force, pulls you forward. Motivation follows movement, not the other way around. You don't wait for motivation to appear and then move. You move and motivation appears. This is a fundamental law of life that few truly understand. Have you noticed that when you start a task, even a difficult one, you begin to feel energy rising inside? A quiet fire awakens. Your doubts don't vanish, but they become smaller, pushed aside by the power of momentum. So what stops so many men from acting? Fear, distraction, indecision. Fear is the illusion you must see through. It whispers lies. You're not good enough. You'll fail. You don't deserve it. But fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal that you are on the edge of growth. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in spite of fear. The spiritual maturity of a man shows in how he faces doubt. Does he freeze? Or does he press forward? Does he surrender his power to anxiety? Or does he take ownership of his inner world? This is the choice you face every day. You cannot wait for fear to vanish. You must move through it. Start small if you must. Take one deliberate step, then another. Each step cracks open your old story of not ready and makes room for a new story, a story of a man who acts no matter what. Remember, momentum is the law of the universe at work in your life. It is the silent engine behind success. Move, and the universe moves with you. You build readiness by stepping into the unknown. You become the man you want to be, one action at a time. So I ask you now, what action can you take today, right now, to build your momentum? What small step will you take even if your doubts scream no? Let's speak plainly about masculinity, not the noisy version the world often shows, but the quiet strength beneath. True masculinity is not loud boasting or reckless bravado. It is discipline. It is resilience forged in the steady, unyielding commitment to becoming a better man. Discipline is the root of all mastery. Without it, talents fade, dreams die, and momentum breaks. Think of discipline as the anchor in the storm of life. When chaos rages around you, when doubt crashes in like waves, discipline holds you steady. It's not about punishment or harshness. It's about respect for yourself and your mission. Why is discipline so hard? Because it asks you to say no to immediate pleasure for long-term gain. It asks you to fight boredom, distraction, and the seductive call of comfort. Yet every great man in history has known this truth. Discipline is freedom. Look at the life of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. His empire was vast, his responsibilities crushing. But he remained a man of discipline, writing daily reflections, controlling his desires, mastering his mind. He understood that real power lies not in what you possess, but in who you become. Discipline trains the mind to focus, the body to endure, and the spirit to persevere. Without it, fear grows louder. Without it, you fall prey to the temptation of escape, the scrolling, the numbing distractions, the endless comparisons. With discipline, you build resilience. Resilience means standing when others fall. Resilience means moving forward when the path is unclear. This is the masculine strength you need, not to dominate others, but to master yourself. Masculinity is not about external approval. It is about internal authority. Ask yourself, how disciplined am I willing to be? What daily habits will I cultivate, even when no one watches? Because the man who controls his routine controls his destiny. Resilience is not born from comfort, but from challenge. The deeper your discipline, the stronger your roots. And the stronger your roots, the more you can withstand the storms. Remember this, to be a man is to build quietly, to work without applause, to show up for yourself every day, even when no one else cares. That is true power. There's a difference between emotional suppression and emotional mastery. Many believe strength means bottling up feelings, hiding vulnerability, pretending to be unshakable. But that's a lie that damages the soul. Real strength lies in emotional detachment, not as cold indifference, but as clear-eyed control. It means recognizing your feelings without letting them control you. When a man faces anger, sadness, or fear, mastery means acknowledging these emotions, but choosing his response. He does not become their victim. This skill is learned through deep self-awareness and practice. Have you ever noticed how your reactions can either build you up or tear you down? The moments when a harsh word or a setback spirals into hours or days of self-doubt. That is the enemy of progress. The man who masters his emotions commands his world. He doesn't react impulsively or seek to suppress his feelings. Instead, he pauses. He breathes. He observes. Then he acts with intention. This emotional detachment allows you to navigate life storms with calm and clarity. It is the difference between being tossed by waves and steering the ship. Consider the samurai, whose training included mastering the mind and heart so that emotions would not betray them in battle. Or think of Viktor Frankl, who survived unimaginable horrors, but found meaning and choice in the space between stimulus and response. This space, that pause, is where your power lies. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Mastering your emotional life is not denial, it is sovereignty. It frees you from chaos, distraction, and reactivity. It lets you hold your center when the world tries to pull you off balance. Ask yourself, when I feel overwhelmed, do I let my emotions run wild? Or do I step back and choose my path calmly? This is not weakness. It is the hallmark of a mature man. To grow, to build, to live fully, you must first master the landscape inside. Your emotions are not your enemy. They are signals, guides to your deeper self. But if you allow them to rule you, they become shackles. Master your emotional world, and the external world bows quietly in respect. There is a kind of power that doesn't shout or demand. It doesn't need an audience to prove itself. It's the power of presence. A man who commands presence holds a quiet authority. You feel it when you walk into a room, a stillness, a confidence, a calm assurance that says, I am here. I am enough. This power comes not from loud words or flashy actions, but from deep inner strength. Presence is the manifestation of a man fully rooted in himself, unshaken by chaos or judgment. It's the difference between noise and signal, between distraction and focus. Have you ever met someone who simply holds the room's attention without trying? That is presence. It comes from self-knowledge, from a disciplined mind, and from emotional mastery. When a man has presence, others listen, not because they fear him, but because they respect him. Presence grows from silence as much as speech. It is cultivated in moments of solitude, in the work done unseen, in the refusal to be pulled into every distraction. Presence is also about being fully engaged in the moment, giving your full attention to the task, the person, the challenge in front of you. It means listening deeply rather than waiting to respond. Presence is a quiet power that changes the way the world interacts with you. You don't need to prove your worth. It is felt. Look to historical men known for their presence, figures like Nelson Mandela, who carried himself with dignity after decades of imprisonment, or the mystic poets whose quiet words echo centuries later. Presence is a skill, a habit, a discipline, and it begins by showing up for yourself every day, by being fully awake to your own life. Ask yourself, how present am I in my own life? Do I give my full attention or let it drift in distraction? The power to command respect quietly lies within your reach, but only if you cultivate it. One of the most misunderstood forms of strength is indifference, not cold apathy, but the deliberate choice of where to place your attention and energy. In a world overflowing with noise, opinions, and endless distractions, a man's power is measured by what he doesn't engage with. Indifference is the art of saying no to what drains you, to what does not serve your growth, to the petty dramas and toxic expectations that pull you away from your path. It's not about shutting off or becoming numb. It's about discerning what truly deserves your focus. Think of a river flowing freely. When it meets obstacles, rocks, fallen branches, it doesn't fight everyone. It moves around, it lets go, it stays on course. So must you. The man who can detach from needless conflict, from others' judgments, from fleeting distractions, conserves his strength for what matters. Look at the Stoics. They practiced indifference to external circumstances, not by ignoring life, but by focusing on what was within their control. They understood the peace that comes from refusing to waste energy on what cannot be changed. Ask yourself, what things today demand my attention but do not deserve it? What worries am I holding onto that steal my focus? Every moment spent on what does not serve you is a moment lost. Indifference is a shield and a sword. It protects you from needless suffering and clears the way for purposeful action. It allows you to choose your battles and conserve your fire. Remember, your energy is finite. Spend it wisely. Master the art of indifference, and you gain a power few men understand. The power to move steadily and quietly toward your highest self. Fear is the oldest story your mind tells. It's a shadow that grows larger in the dark, whispering threats and weaving doubts. But fear, at its core, is an illusion, a trick of the mind designed to keep you safe by keeping you still. It says, don't move, don't risk, don't step forward. Yet every step forward dissolves that shadow just a little more. The brave man does not deny fear. He recognizes it, looks it in the eye, and moves anyway. Remember the story of Joshua Chamberlain at Gettysburg. Facing near certain death, with men exhausted and outnumbered, he stood firm. His courage didn't come from absence of fear, but from choosing action in spite of it. Fear is a signpost, not a stop sign. It marks the edge of your comfort zone, the boundary of your growth. When you push beyond it, you expand your world. Ask yourself, what fears hold me back? What would I do if fear was no longer the master? Your courage is the weapon that cuts through fear's illusion. It is forged in the quiet decisions, the small acts of bravery no one sees. So start there. Act in spite of fear. Each step forward shrinks the shadow. Each act of courage builds your inner fortress. And soon enough, fear loses its power over you. Because a man who acts despite fear becomes unstoppable. There's a dangerous whisper that haunts every man's mind at some point. I'll do it someday. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll change. Someday I'll be ready. But here's the brutal truth. Someday is a thief. It steals your time, your dreams, your life. Waiting for the right moment, the perfect plan, the flawless conditions. It's a lie that keeps you stuck. No one ever achieves greatness by waiting. Look at the world's greatest inventors, warriors, artists. They did not wait for perfect readiness. They moved with what they had, imperfect and uncertain. Consider Rosa Parks. She didn't wait for the world to be ready for change. She acted on a quiet certainty that her moment had come. The law of momentum is clear. Motivation follows movement, not the other way around. You don't wait for motivation to strike and then move. You move, and motivation will chase you down. Waiting is easy. Action is hard. But only through action do you become ready. So stop asking, when will I be ready? Ask instead, what step can I take today? Even if it's small, even if it's uncertain, that step will build momentum, and momentum will build you. This is the path of every man who leaves mediocrity behind. You are ready now, or you will never be. Choose action. Choose growth. Choose your own life. Doubt is a shadow that follows every man who reaches beyond the familiar. It creeps in quietly, whispering questions that shake your confidence. Am I enough? Is this the right path? What if I fail? These doubts do not disappear when you become a man. They remain. Spiritual maturity is not about eliminating doubt. It is about acting in spite of it. To be spiritually mature is to hold your vision with hands that tremble, to walk forward even when the way is unclear. The great teachers, warriors, and leaders of history all knew this. They felt doubt, but did not let it dictate their choices. Instead, they cultivated faith, not faith in outcomes or guarantees, but faith in their own commitment. Faith that even if the path is dark, they would find their way by walking it. Imagine a man standing at the edge of a foggy cliff. The future is uncertain, the ground unclear. He cannot see what lies ahead, but he steps forward anyway. This is the essence of maturity. This is what separates boys from men. Ask yourself, when doubt fills my mind, do I retreat or do I act anyway? Spiritual maturity means choosing action, not because you are fearless, but because you have made peace with fear and doubt. It means trusting your inner compass, even when the path is hidden. That trust builds strength. That trust builds resilience. That trust transforms a man from a victim of circumstance to the master of his fate. Your doubt is not a weakness. It is a call to deeper strength. Answer it with courage. Every great battle a man faces is fought first inside himself. Before the world tests your strength, your doubts, your limits, you must conquer the battlefield of your own mind. This inner war is silent, unseen by others, but it is the true measure of a man's power. The thoughts you allow, the beliefs you nurture, The stories you tell yourself. These shape your reality. Do you feed your mind with fear and scarcity, or with courage and abundance? Do you give power to the voice that says, I can't, or do you amplify the voice that says, I will? Mastering your inner world means becoming the gatekeeper of your thoughts. It means recognizing negative patterns and choosing to replace them with empowering ones. It means training your mind to focus on what serves you, to reject distraction and doubt. This is a lifelong practice. No one is perfect at it, but every step forward matters. Consider the metaphor of the gardener once more. If you allow weeds, thoughts of fear, jealousy, anger, to grow unchecked, they will choke the life from your garden. If you tend your mind daily, pulling out the weeds and planting seeds of discipline and clarity, your garden will flourish. Your external reality reflects this inner work. Control your inner world, and you command your outer world. Ask yourself, what thoughts have I been harboring that hold me back? What story about myself am I ready to rewrite? The battle inside is the one worth fighting. Win it, and you win everything. In a world obsessed with instant results and loud successes, patience is a rare and powerful virtue. It is the silent muscle of men who build lasting greatness. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active endurance, a steady, persistent movement toward your goal, day after day, no matter how slow the progress. Think of the blacksmith shaping metal. Each strike may seem small, but with time, the blade sharpens and hardens. Patience is the quiet force that turns effort into mastery. Without it, frustration breaks men. They abandon their dreams because the reward is not immediate. But the truth is, meaningful change always takes time. The oak tree does not grow overnight. Your strength, your character, your legacy. These require seasons of work, of falling and rising, of quiet building. Look at the life of Abraham Lincoln. Years of struggle, rejection, failure. Yet he persisted with patience, knowing that greatness is forged in time. Ask yourself, am I willing to endure discomfort today for strength tomorrow? Can I show up for myself when no one else does? Patience teaches resilience. It tempers ambition with wisdom. It allows you to trust the process even when the results seem distant. Remember, quiet persistence outlasts all noise and distraction. Build patiently. Build deeply. Your future self will thank you. Many men fear solitude. They see it as loneliness or weakness. But solitude is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. In solitude, a man meets himself, raw, honest, without disguise. It is in these moments alone that true self-knowledge is born. You learn what drives you, what frightens you, what you truly want. Solitude is the space where your inner voice grows louder than the world's noise. Consider the great thinkers and warriors who sought solitude to sharpen their minds and spirits. The monks in silent retreats, the artists in their studios, the soldiers before battle. In solitude, you find clarity. You see your distractions for what they are. You build the inner resources to face life's challenges. This does not mean isolation or withdrawal. It means intentional time to reflect, to center yourself, to reconnect with your purpose. Ask yourself, when was the last time I was truly alone with my thoughts? When was the last time I listened to myself without interruption? In solitude, you reclaim your power. You become less dependent on external validation, less reactive to chaos. You become whole. Embrace solitude not as absence, but as presence, presence with yourself. This is where your deepest strength is born. The most successful men aren't extraordinary because they have special talents or luck. They are ordinary men with extraordinary routines. Routine is the daily architecture of your life. It shapes your habits, your mindset, your results. Without routine, your life is like a ship drifting in the open sea, pulled by every wave of distraction and emotion. With routine, you chart a steady course toward your goals. Consider the discipline of Benjamin Franklin, who planned each day meticulously, or the habits of athletes who train daily, rain or shine, whether motivated or not. Routine is not about rigidity, it's about consistency. It's about showing up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. The foundation of discipline is built in the small actions repeated day after day. Wake early, read, exercise, reflect, plan. These are the bricks that build resilience. Ask yourself, what routines am I neglecting that could transform my life? What daily habits will I commit to, no matter how small? Routine creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates progress. Start with one habit, then another. Build a life that builds you. Humility is not weakness. It is the quiet strength of knowing who you are, your strengths and your limits, without arrogance or self-denial. A humble man does not boast. He listens more than he speaks. He learns from failure instead of hiding from it. Humility allows you to see clearly where you need to grow. It frees you from the trap of pretending or overreaching. Great men throughout history, from the philosophers to the warriors, carried humility as their shield. They accepted their imperfections and used them as fuel for improvement. Humility does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. It opens the door to wisdom. Ask yourself, am I honest with myself about my weaknesses? Am I willing to learn, to fail, to rise again? The man who embraces humility builds a foundation that no storm can shake. He is open to growth and able to adapt. Humility is the soil in which true strength grows. At the end of your days, what will remain? The loud voices fade. The applause dies. What lasts is the work you quietly did, the character you built, the lives you touched without fanfare. The man who builds quietly understands this deeply. He does not need the world's approval. He does not seek constant recognition. He builds because it is his calling, because he knows that true success is not in the spotlight, but in the foundation laid day by day. Look at the great builders of history, the craftsmen, the teachers, the leaders who moved with humility and discipline. Their legacy is not headlines, but the steady ripple that changes lives. Your journey is the same. Focus on yourself. Build yourself quietly. Master your mind, your emotions, your actions. Cultivate presence, discipline, and patience. Choose your battles. Act despite fear. Embrace solitude. This is the work of a man who leads his own life, not for applause, but for truth, for purpose, for legacy. Remember this, the world may not notice your quiet building now, but it will feel the strength you create. Stand tall in your solitude, move steadily in your purpose, and build the man only you can become.